It's a sweltering weekend in the Perth suburbs, and these volunteers have got a deadline to meet.
I'm here today to help to stop this family being evicted because certain things needed to be done.
Jennifer Casehagen is the coordinator of this working bee.
Okay. Brushes I have, but my rollers are done. They're just people in Perth who care about closing the gap. They turn up, scrub a wall, take away some rubbish or whatever, and that prevents the eviction of a whole bunch of kids, a whole household.
Today, the team's helping two young mothers, sisters with 8 children to look after and a history of family tragedies.
Whitley is under an enormous amount of pressure. She's the eldest, she takes care of everyone, her kids, her sister's kids, everybody's children. She's everybody's rock. She lost her mother last year. She's living in poverty, which is another whole other issue.
So she had a lot going on. She
had a huge amount going on, and yeah, she couldn't cope.
It was hard. It was a lot. I was going through a lot at that time, so I couldn't maintain the house. Plus, I've got my sister and her little ones living with me, so it's too much going on at once. I didn't have enough time to keep it going.
The sisters, both aged in their 20s, are facing possible eviction for failing to maintain the property and clear rubbish away.
The grounds they've given here for the eviction notice are did not finish the painting in a professional manner, had to remove bulk rubbish that was around the site. It's not reasonable.
Why isn't it reasonable? Because many people keep their state housing homes clean and tidy.
Yeah, I wonder whether there's a link between people that can do that and people who have got complex trauma histories. And if we're really looking to close the gap, the issue here is complex intergenerational trauma.
Two days after the clean-up, an officer from WA's Housing Authority comes to check out the property.
Jennifer, First Nations Homes Project. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Good.
That's good.
Being busy. I'll just take photos out the front.
After a thorough inspection, the verdict's positive. The sisters can stay.
This is amazing. This is really good.
You reckon I'm going to pass?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No. You got no worries. You just got to maintain it now for the next one.
Thanks to these beautiful people.
Yes. Oh gosh, yeah. You've done a marvellous job. Got plenty more that could do with your help.
So how are you gonna manage to keep it all together now?
Now that I don't have any problems in front of me, I can keep going. I don't think I'll fall behind ever again.
Jennifer Casehagen set up the project because she'd witnessed the fallout. Homeless families living on the street. And once an eviction notice is served, a notification to child protection authorities generally follows.
When I first started working in the homelessness space, I saw families, big families with a lot of kids, little kids, toddlers and newborns on the street, and they had ended up on the street because they had been evicted from the state housing system, and it broke my heart.
She's recruited several hundred volunteers.
10 to 2, if that's okay.
Who've averted about 40 evictions in the past 2 years.
It's horses for courses, isn't it? Some people might prefer to go to a football match. I'm not interested in football.
67-year-old Sally Meehan doesn't judge why the people she helps can't do it for themselves.
Often, once they're given a bit of a jump start, they get motivated then to keep it well looked after. They get stereotyped as being lazy and unproductive, and which they're not. They are just marginalised and discriminated against and poor.
But the agency with the difficult job of managing the state's public housing took 730 to one of its recent cases to demonstrate what it's sometimes dealing with. This house belonged to a non-Indigenous tenant. The department says families are offered support, but if they won't take responsibility, eviction is the last resort.
If you visit some of our properties where action like this occurs. The condition is very, very poor. They have a detrimental effect on the community. They do expose the community to vermin and other pests, and it also places the tenant and their family at risk. And we need to use mechanisms to try and prompt action. We don't want to evict anybody.
But still, there were nearly 500 evictions last financial year, nearly half due to rent arrears and debts. And for many, losing a home means they're at risk of losing custody of their children.
So typically, children who come to the attention of Child Protection have their parents have maybe issues with domestic violence, drug or alcohol addiction, mental health issues, and it's just very hard to access services for the family if the family is not in stable housing.
And if that means providing intensive in-home support, then Jennifer Casehagen believes it's worth it.
Hello.
There are no child protection issues with this mother, but Colleen Brown does struggle to keep her house clean and tidy. Do you think you'll be able to stay on top of it now?
Yeah, I will be. Just need a bit of guidance and just reassure that you can do it. I did struggle before, but now, since Jennifer's been here, she just lifted me up and I know I can do it.
The West Australian Government has recently boosted its commitment to intensive family support with dedicated teams, including Aboriginal staff, to work with vulnerable families. Jennifer Casehagen believes she provides a vital alternative that meets the need right now.
If you want to close the gap, you need to prevent evictions and you need to prevent child removals, because those are the major traumas in First Nations people's lives, in my view.
All right, cool. I'll see you later. See you next week. Bye.